I didn't do...
You showed me that even in a city of secrets and shadows, the truth has a place in our hearts and is worth fighting for. I know the city isn't going to change because of what we've done, and the Hall of Songs probably isn't going to sail to different winds overnight. But you've made a difference, Cicero. In my life, at least. Know that.
I think I might have needed this ordeal as much as you.
Come on. Let's see if our Fae friend is back.
Tower. It's not sharp with spires. It's more of a tall dome.
What's going on?
Keep going. Salting. I can't believe I hadn't seen this earlier.
You've lost me.
It was the key to understanding Dementica. Adaran Vamus, the first man who salted and retained a portion of his mind, could, during his lucid moments, read, write, and speak Dementica, just like Vasco. He was the cornerstone upon which all research into the language was based.
What are you saying?
I'm saying it's a bridge. Salting connects the two souls, the two minds, the two spirits, whatever you want to call them. And it happens when we use the Mascherines' powers too strongly, tap too deeply into another soul.
So they're connected?
Exactly. And now, all the stories of the past are at our fingertips. Imagine all that we could learn now that we understand this connection.
All right. So what's the poor bloodling done to deserve this?
Vasco's claimed that he's had a few memories that seem to have been left over by the Dementicate, who'd been his Masquerine. He thinks he can see what their city might have looked like. We're trying to replicate it.
Remember, bulbous.
I think I've got it.
And that's it?
Let me see. What does it look like? I don't quite know what to make of it.
Vasco.
I can make out a long tower over there, but...
Amadea, that's not a tower. That's a man, with his trousers down. That's his,
Vasco! Will you please take this seriously?
I only see vague images. Nalior, not enough for anything substantial.
I suppose it was worth a try.
I wonder if you can
Swine you.
keep dipping into the other soul.
Now that everything's settled down, I think we've kept our questions in the shadows for long enough.
About the sunken star. Right. You'd best sit down.
First we learned that Mascherines are Dementicate, and now you're telling me that they're Fae as well.
It makes sense. The increase in the mists in the recent years corresponds with the destruction of the hundreds of Mascherines in the War of Bearings.
This is incredulous, Inspectore. The Fae have been around since time immemorial, and no one has managed to learn where they've come from.
Until now. Think about it, Marshal. Mascherines and Fae. Two things that have existed before the city was even built. Is it really so surprising that they're related?
And Lucia was led by one of them?
Is. If I could get out of there alive, I'm certain she made it through as well. But, yes. She's being led by a Fae they call the Lady. Being Dementicate, she has knowledge of the world that we haven't even glimpsed.
You said she's trying to stop another cataclysm from occurring.
She mentioned something about uniting the city, bringing the artifacts together. She handed me some scrolls about Dementicate history to read, but I haven't had the time.
Well, now we do. It's not a long record. It explains the downfall of their civilization. In summary, the single event that served as the pivot for the success of their empire was a civil war.
Sounds familiar.
What was this war about?
The artifacts. For a long time, they were used by the Dementicate to push the boundaries of their empire.
Which supports what we found at the Conoscenza.
But it couldn't last forever.
Not with the way the artifacts worked.
Calden!
The way they worked? Inspectore.
I'm sorry, Marshal. The artifacts were what were responsible for turning the souls of the Dimenticate into Mascherines. They created the Dimenticate's power.
And everyone knows this?
Marshal, I wanted to tell you.
Carry on.
Tiziana,
Stop wasting my time. How did the Dimenticate fall?
when the artifacts were received by the Dimenticate, they initially sacrificed their prisoners to create the Mascherines. When their empire expanded, they began to turn to ordinary men and women instead. As you can imagine, that did not end well.
Well, yes.
Uprisings?
Exactly. Their empire was cleaved in two, those who wanted to continue using the artifacts, and those that demanded that they be kept away, saying that it cost them too much.
Well, the artifacts are nowhere to be found, so I assume the latter faction won?
Correct. And that is when their empire began to crumble. Without the powers of the artifacts, they couldn't stand against the chaos of the world.
Chaos?
It isn't explained exactly what it was, but I think it is safe to assume that it's related to the Cataclysm.
If these scrolls don't mention what the Cataclysm is, then why does Lucia believe another is in store for us?
I don't know. But what I do know is that she believes that she needs to unite the city, and she intends to do that by overthrowing the registry.
Oh, it's back.
Just on time.
Kadek?
Sam Bel Ya.
Arish?
Sam Bel Ya.
The Assemblia.
It wants us to go to the altars.
The Misted Isles.
Ah, of course.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
The Misted Isles. A set of monuments left behind by the Dimenticate. The Altus built the Assemblia around it to keep people out. Vasco, what's on these monuments that it wants us to see? Can't it just tell us what's on it?
Avar?
Don Sivnia. Santa. Atavar.
No. They're guarded, and he doesn't remember precisely. But he promises they're important.
It's all right. At least now we have a lead.
Tiziana should go with you. The relationship between the Altus and the Luca is the strongest of all between the Semora. It might help ease our way in.
Well... do I smell hesitation?
Fine.
Better get ready then.
Are we still gonna wear that now that they try to kill us?
Oh, you're looking much better.
Time heals. I'll be all right, eventually. I have something to show you.
Wait. That's... Jaff's?
It has been a while.
I cannot believe this. All these years.
You're hurt. I'm sorry, but I couldn't jeopardize my new life.
Your life with the Laboris?
It seemed the best way to find out who it was that killed my parents.
And it's paid off. You've discovered who it was then?
Benak. Not just yet. But that is a mission for another time. A time when the whole of Umber is not at stake.
Why didn't you tell me?
I tried.
The whistles.
And the golden canvas.
And the sunken star. That's why you did it. Why you were willing to salt.
Yes. I couldn't leave you. Not again.
Ages. Where do we go from here?
First things first. Continue to address me as Vasco, please. It's stuck.
I understand.
And secondly, I do not see why this has to change anything. I am still in your company. We still search for the tools to save all of Umber. we keep going. That's what we do.
All right. Let's find these artifacts then.
Let's find these artifacts.
Not really unexpected.
Ages. It makes so much sense.
Talking to yourself again?
Just thinking about the behavior of the Fae. The way they respond to the old world, like the Kilgan in the Cleaver, so careful not to touch the relics. Or those in the pin drop, and the way they shied away from the statue of their god. I always thought they exhibited such strange behaviors because of some inherent power in the relics or something. But they must remember that the items were part of their world. For all I know, the Kilgan could have been my custodial predecessors thousands of years ago.
You're rather quick to humanize them. I don't think most Fae remember who they once were.
I hope so.
Not fully, perhaps, but there is a sliver of humanity in each. That's what the Scythe are. Fragments of humanity used as a seed for the Fae to be born out of. It might be merely a fragment, true, but still. I shouldn't let this get too much in the way. We have work that needs to be done, and I'm sure there'll be time. Later.
It must be horrifying if they can't remember and they are stuck as Faes patrolling whatever, a relic, a ruin or something, or in a mask.
Cicero, about earlier.
I suppose she had to find out eventually.
My mind has just been so overwhelmed. Keeping secrets seemed like the least of our concerns, especially now with tides.
What's bothering you?
Lucia. She's being led by a demented Kate who's been around longer than all our legacies combined. It just worries me what we're standing up against.
We've come this far, haven't we?
I suppose we have. All right. Chins up then.
Marshal.
Inspetore.
You know why I did what I did.
I do. It's because you don't trust me.
I trust you perfectly fine. Your guild, on the other hand.
After all this time, you still don't see it.
I'm sorry?
I am my guild, Inspetore. With hindsight, I suppose I should have made that clearer. Might have spared us both some inconvenience.
What? Does that mean that she thinks her guild is the same with her as in she's acting as anyone in her guild would act? Or that she has a higher position within the guild that goes... would be read both ways, I guess. Anyway, time to visit the new ruins.
Hasn't anyone told you it's rude to stare?
Sir, are we really traveling with that thing?
It needs to follow us, so yes.
Does it, understand us?
Perhaps. It certainly isn't stupid.
Right. Well, anyway, where are we going today, sir?
The Assemblia, please.
Right away.
So she's I like him because he has a lot of AoE abilities and some healing. Although all characters are good.
You need to hide.
Comfortable?
Well, we can't have a Fae walking around with us now, can we? Let's go.
Okay. I think she has something going on with the guild. She was really hesitant. So she might not be as well respected or in good terms with it. We'll see how it goes.
A new follower. A new follower.
Alright, historians. It's been 5 years since it started. I wonder if this has something to do with the death of our brother. Probably. And the rebellion. It probably will be important in the end.
Halt!
Good morning, Malleus.
You've got company, is that?
Inspectore Cicero Gavar, yes.
I do not think Va Preville would be too pleased to see you bringing a member of the White Spire in here.
I am here under the orders of the Judge Master. I'm certain the Va will allow this.
On your word, Marshal.
So they are part of the same guild then. Weird. Or maybe not. This guy seems Brown Guild and historians. These guys are all about justice and they are the Golden
Tiziana?
Guild.
Hello,
Why do they...
Mama.
Ah,
Mother.
that's why. Ooh.
Please sit.
Interesting.
Inspector.
What's with the wings?
It is surprising to see you here.
I am sorry, but I had not been told that we would be visiting Tiziana's mother.
Does it matter who she is? We need access to the Assemblia, and that is that.
So, that's why you've come. Might I ask what for?
The Misted Isles. We want to see it.
Tiziana, even you understand that
I am here on behalf of the Judge Master. You will take us to see it or have him to answer to.
I can't.
Wow.
Excuse me?
The Assemblia is occupied.
What in the light is that supposed to mean? Mists.
Misty.
What is happening inside?
The Rediro. They've grown.
Grown!
They're trying to break free.
Prepare yourselves!
Well, it's a good thing we came right now. I guess. I deserve that.
Is that all you've got?
Who can see there?
Shades. They're enormous.
Va Previa had gone to the Luca to make a request for assistance. We had hoped to contain them until she returned.
It seems you failed at that.
Isabel, we need to get to the Misted Isles.
I'll get the calendar. Tiziana, guard the door, please, while I determine the course we should take.
Vasco, assist me.
So we know here too.
Isabel, you and Tiziana.
She blames me for her father's death.
Zane. From what I know, he died of an illness.
10 years ago, while I was on a ruin raid with the Altus, there was an accident. I fell into a coma for 2 years, during which Zane tirelessly cared for me.
He stretched himself thin.
Too thin. He started falling ill. One night, just a month before I emerged from the depths of the coma, he did not wake to the morning sun. Tiziana thinks that if I had been stronger, if I had been able to protect myself, he would still be alive.
That's bullshit.
Accident.
Born of incompetence.
And she said this to you? That she blames you?
I'm certain she's spoken much about Zane. Is it any wonder that you have never heard of me?
I had thought that perhaps you might have...
Being dead, sometimes it feels like I might as well be to her. Here,